Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm a coach, I'm a happiness and success coach, and I just wanted to talk today about being busy versus being productive. And it's kind of a question that I get asked quite a lot of the time. How do you get so much done? And I see a lot of people running around kind of being really busy, but not necessarily getting a lot done. So the difference between being busy and productive is actually, it's in the word productive. So when you're productive, the definition of productive is kind of efficiently producing an output. And it's really the word output that is the key thing here. It's you actually producing something tangible, and that's what makes you productive. So I see a lot of people that are very busy, filling their time kind of doing busy things, but actually don't get to a point where they're producing anything. So they're not necessarily making progress and they're not necessarily productive. The other thing I see people doing quite a lot as well is actually never producing the output because they're trying to make sure it's perfect. So the thing to focus on if you want to be productive is to focus on actually what it is you want to produce, and then how you can do that. So we often give ourselves more time than we need in order to produce something, because that's kind of a perfectionist thing, because it keeps us safe. So you know, I'm sure I could do this or create that, or write a blog post or whatever it is. I'm sure I could do it, and do you know what, I've got all weekend, so I can spend all weekend kind of writing or creating or whatever else, and it'll be perfect. And actually, you know, that works against us, because you're spending an awful lot of time producing something that actually you could do in a really short space of time. Deadlines are absolutely our friend, and I know that I am very deadline driven. I think there's nothing like the 11th hour to really drive you forward and get something done. So use that to make yourself more productive when you've got things you want to get done, kind of whatever it is you want to get done. Give yourself a deadline to do it, and it's amazing how productive you can then be in that deadline. It's amazing how quickly you could, using the blog post example, write a quick blog post and do it quickly, and actually recognise that it's not perfect, but actually you've produced something. If you want to be a productive person versus a busy person, then you need to be producing something. So you need the outputs, and to get those outputs, you need to be able to give yourself a deadline and to move forward through those things to that deadline, and recognise that they're not going to be perfect. And actually, it's so much better to have something that you've produced, that's an output that actually isn't perfect, but actually having that rather than something that you haven't ever produced but you're working towards and it's going to be perfect, because there's no value in that last one because you haven't actually got anything tangible. So it's much better to have the tangible output that you would probably class as less than perfect, but actually it probably isn't too far off. So I think perfectionism can really be our enemy, and being busy and busying ourselves with all of these things without actually being productive and thinking about what it is we want to produce and what the output is also our enemy. So don't focus on being busy, and the next time you find yourself being busy, think actually, how do I turn this into being productive, and what can I do, what do I want to produce at the end of it, and what can I do to make sure that I produce that in a reasonable amount of time to free up some of my other time. So the other thing that I'm going to say around being busy and productive as well is, actually, it's great being productive, but you really need to be productive in the right manner. And when I say the right manner, I kind of mean you need to be producing things that are taking you towards your goals. So this is where it's a great idea to have your vision board and to have a really clear idea of where you want to be. And then what you're producing should take you on a journey towards those goals. So it should be one of the stepping stones that takes you towards that goal. So the focus is on, let it be imperfect, set yourself a deadline, and just produce something. Have something tangible at the end of it, and actually just keep doing that, and there will be steps on the journey towards your goal, and that will help you achieve your goal. So the next time you're feeling busy, don't feel busy. Instead think, actually, what am I producing? What are the outputs that I want at the end of this? What's the result I want at the end of it? And how can I focus to make sure that I get that in an imperfect way to take you towards your goals. So I hope that's helped. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.